me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
We're ensuring we empower our Parks and Recreation agencies to enrich their community lives and make life easier for their staff through trusted technology that they can rely on, grow with, scale, help make their lives easier, because we know Parks and Rec folks, they do a lot of important work. They wear many hats, and they're often underfunded, understaffed, and don't have the time to manage what they're doing. So we're proud to be able to help with that and help alleviate some of those pains, some of that stress through innovative, easy-to-use technology.
Welcome back to the Daily Parks and Rec Show, live from the 2025 NRPA conference. Today we sit down with Datis Mohsenipour, VP of Marketing at Xplor Technologies, a company redefining how cities connect residents to recreation through smarter, simpler software. From martial arts beginnings to becoming one of the most innovative recreation management platforms in North America, Xplor is transforming how agencies serve their communities, freeing staff from paperwork so they can focus on what really matters: people. Imagine online registration that takes just 90 seconds. A mobile app that feels as intuitive as Amazon or Airbnb, and 24/7 customer support. Datis shares how innovation, empathy, and future-focused design are shaping the next era of Parks and Recreation technology, and why Parks and Rec isn't extra, it's essential. Let's dive in.
All right, so we have Datis Mohsenipour.
Nailed it.
I got it. Okay. This is Craig LeBlanc again with the Daily Parks and Rec Show here, airing live from NRPA Orlando, beautiful city of Orlando, Florida, 2025 convention. And Datis is one of the vendors that is part of this massive. What do you think of that vendor hall? Is this, how many times have y'all been to the NRPA convention?
This personally is my fourth.
Fantastic.
So my first one was in Phoenix in 2022, I believe. And this is my fourth now, and looking forward to Philly next year and every year to come.
Fantastic. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about what your company does, how it got founded, and kind of give us the history of how it got created.
So we do recreation management software. So we're ensuring we empower our Parks and Recreation agencies to enrich their community lives and make life easier for their staff through trusted technology that they can rely on, grow with, scale, and just really help make their lives easier, because we know Parks and Rec folks, they do a lot of important work. They wear many hats, and they're often underfunded, understaffed, and don't have the time to manage what they're doing. So we're proud to be able to help with that and help alleviate some of those pains, some of that stress through innovative, easy-to-use technology. Now, the origin story of Xplor Recreation is a pretty funny one, and actually my return to the recreation industry is an interesting one in that it used to be a martial arts software.
No way.
Yeah, it started off as Champions Way, and when I graduated college, I actually worked for Champions Way. It was my martial arts coach's software company. So I worked there for a couple of years. After that, I moved to Active Network, which, as we know, is a recreation management technology company as well. I worked there for about a year. And in 2015, Champions Way became Perfect Mind, and then Perfect Mind became a recreation management software company when there was a gap in the market. And lots of folks went to Perfect Mind at the time and said, hey, can you do this? And from that point on, the industry shifted for us. We focus entirely on Parks and Recreation, and the investment has solely been into Parks and Recreation. And that's the direction we continue to head in and try and provide the best Parks and Recreation management software there is. And funny enough, I left the industry, as I said, and then the two became competitors. My two past careers became competitors. And then later on, I got approached and said, hey, this is what we're doing. Datis, you should join. You have the experience, you know the industry, you know the product. And when I saw what was going on in the industry and the lack of innovation, it just made a lot of sense. I left a cushy job with a 6-month-old boy and a new mortgage and decided this is a really great opportunity, and I really believe in what we can do.
Yeah. And so what are some of the efficiency gains that we can talk about? Let's just say, not that there's any Parks and Rec departments out there that are still doing only on paper, but how can software help streamline a lot of the daily processes that you see in Parks and Rec?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, There's no shortage of ways that we help with streamlining efficiencies. I'm sitting here looking at the city of Brampton, actually, who they've adopted 95% online registration by using us. And they've been able to manage up to 15,000 registrations during their peak registration periods in as little as 5 minutes. So
Oh my goodness.
we've obviously went from low online registration to being able to have 95% of that being self-served. And you can imagine just the amount of time that frees up for their staff. Now, there's cities like the city of Menlo Park in California who've told us they've actually done away with their brochures entirely. So they're saving tons of hours on that and saving tons of costs, upwards of $70,000 a year in print and mail and all that type of stuff, just by eliminating that, because we've made it so easy for them to offer their services online. We offer all sorts of automations, so reducing those redundant day-to-day tasks that folks manage, being able to make those automated, kind of set it and forget it based off of easy to use and easy to create workflows. Reporting, we have hundreds of reports that are easy to create. There's a ton of different ways that we help agencies streamline and gain back their time, but also give them that time back to focus on the community.
Yeah, and software can really just do a lot of that processes, and a lot of times once you learn how to operate it, it's just that onboarding part's a little clunky at first, but then it just becomes part of the second nature, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought up onboarding, because it's something that's really important. We always encourage folks to really take their time, and it's not because it's difficult. It's not because it's challenging, but it's because something of this magnitude, something that's so deeply ingrained in your day-to-day operations, you don't want to just rush that. You want to be able to settle in. You want to be able to help manage the change internally, even if it's easier change, even if it's better change. Change is change, and it takes some adaptation. So we have a seven-phase implementation process with former Parks and Rec professionals to make sure that it's really easy. Okay, make sure everybody's very familiar with it and knows it inside out. We give a test environment for them to go in there and break it and get comfortable, so that when they go live, it's a seamless, smooth transition for them, for their community members. And the software itself is just intuitive. It's familiar. It's built off of e-commerce best practices that people just know and realize. So a lot of that legwork and the change management is just inherent because things make sense. It's familiar.
Now, you had used a term where they kind of help onboard themselves, or you have like a client or somebody that wants to participate in some type of league ball, versus you having to type in all their information, kind of like we see on Amazon. I mean, all of us got an Amazon account and we didn't talk to somebody at Amazon. We just basically did it ourselves. Is that how y'all's company's kind of set up?
Absolutely. I mean, we've been doing mobile first on web browsers since 2017 and optimizing.
Wow.
Now, when it comes to mobile first, there are limitations. Now, 80% of folks tend to register and purchase things online. And we know that people are continuing to use more and more, or they're continuing to use their phones primarily to shop for most things and register for most things. So we want to make sure that our desktop works the same way our mobile works. Without sacrifice, folks are able to register very easily through the web browser version, but there are limitations. You're not going to get that native functionality of an app. You're not going to get the same performance of an app, some of the swipe gestures and things of that sort. So we're really proud to be the only folks in the market that have a fully native mobile app solution that's custom branded to agencies. And that's really cool functionality, like being able to use AI contextualized search to say, hey, show me classes on Tuesday nights, yoga classes for adults at XYZ Recreation Center. And it takes that natural language that we're used to using with Siri and Google, contextualizes it into filters and produces the results.
Wow.
And folks can then register themselves, their family members, their children, if they're eligible for the courses, and browse, register, and pay within as little as 90 seconds if they know what they're doing. And it's revolutionary when it comes to this industry, but it's, again, familiar. It's those best practices, those apps that we see and use on a daily basis that we become accustomed to. Our app is that for agencies.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, so essentially the big apps like Uber or Airbnb or Amazon, y'all are trying to kind of mirror that so that it's very familiar when people use y'all.
We're using those best practices of e-commerce. We're bringing that in and that familiarity and making, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, so let's just say you've got all these other software companies that are somewhat competitors of y'all's. What are some of the differentiators, or maybe even say, what are some of the things that you would want to look for in a software when you're trying to pick which one will best serve your community?
That's a really great question. I really like how you flip that on its head. Well, I think one thing is that end of the day, software is software. we all mostly do similar things, different packages. Some of us have different flows. I will say, you know, there's obviously some things we do a lot better than a lot of folks, and there's some things that we may not do as well as some other folks, but we all generally do the same things. Now, there are aspects, for instance, with us where we really want to make sure that folks are future-proofed. We've seen it a lot in this industry where folks have purchased software and then they're sitting there and a lot hasn't changed year after year after year. I mean, that's the reason I came back to this industry, period, was because I saw how little it changed. So when you're getting into this 5-year, probably 10-year relationship, because who wants to switch software again after a 5-year term?
Right.
You really want to make sure that that next partner of yours has shown that history of innovation, that has continued to develop and is investing into their product. And that's something we're really proud of, is that pushing the boundaries of innovation, continuing to reinvest into our product, into research and development. And we will not stop that.
Fantastic.
Another thing I think that is very important, that it's shocking to me, is not inherent in every vendor in the space, regardless if they're recreation management. You say customer service is extremely important here. Parks and Rec doesn't stop after 9 to 5 business hours. Customer service, 24/7, 365 support should not be an add-on fee. We need to support our community members. We're an extension of theirs. If something goes wrong on a Saturday night, they should be able to get a hold of somebody to say, hey, you know, at least we're working on a solution. Not, sorry, folks, we're gonna have to get back to you on Monday when this support ticket gets looked at. So customer service is something we really think is important, and we really lean into heavily and continue to invest on, because we know how important it is to serve the folks who are serving their community members.
Yeah. Now, do y'all do anything for special events or any other type of activities that go on?
Absolutely. We have tons of flexibility when it comes to our software. And we also have a ton of integrations as well for things like accounting and league management and things of that sort as well.
Yeah, great. Okay, so we did create, I would like to get your feedback on something that we created for the Parks and Rec industry.
Okay.
Not sure if you knew, but during COVID, Parks and Rec was on the chopping block to be the first to get cut funding from, and unfortunately, they got put in a non-essential category. And so after making content for almost 750 hours just this year for this industry, we created a 2-minute explainer to hopefully reframe this conversation. I'd love to get your take on this.
Let's see.
When we talk about essential services, what comes to mind? Police, firefighters, healthcare. But there's another essential service, often overlooked, yet always present. Parks and recreation. Parks and Rec is health. It's the walking trail that lowers blood pressure, the recreation center where seniors fight isolation, the swim lessons that prevent tragedy before it happens. This isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. Parks and Rec is safety, a playground instead of a street corner, a basketball court instead of trouble, a summer camp where every child belongs. It's not just about activity, it's about protection, prevention, and possibility. Parks and Rec is community, the festival that brings neighbors together, the cultural event that teaches respect and diversity, the open space where a city breathes. It builds bridges where division once stood. It gives people a reason to gather, to connect, to care. And Parks and Rec is economics. It strengthens property values. It drives tourism through events and trails. It saves on healthcare costs. Every dollar invested multiplies, feeding back into schools, into safety, into growth. Essential service is not just about survival, it's about thriving. And Parks and Recreation is where thriving begins. In wellness, in equity, in culture, and in joy. Parks and Rec isn't extra, it's essential. For our health, for our safety, for our communities, for our future. A message from the Parks and Recreation community.
All right, so what's your take on that?
That tugs on the heartstrings. And And unequivocally, yes, like unequivocally. I mentioned I was 21 when I was in this industry, and I don't want to say in this industry because I don't have that honor. I'm adjacent to this industry. But my first round here, I didn't really understand how special this is. I didn't understand the importance of it. I didn't grow up in Parks and Rec, so I didn't know. And I didn't take the time when I was 21 to really understand it. This time around, I came in as a father and really dug in to understand how the sausage is made and really understand the people. And these folks aren't in Parks and Rec to drive a Ferrari. They're in Parks and Rec to help their community because that's what matters most to them.
Yeah.
It's community within community within community. People are working full-time jobs, very difficult, thankless full-time jobs to help enrich the lives of their community members, then volunteering in the state level association, which is an extension of their community, then the NRPA volunteering in it while being mothers of four. And it's just such a phenomenal group of folks. And it's absolutely wrong to not say that Parks and Rec is an essential service. This video is perfect.
Yeah.
A perfect representation of the importance of what Parks and Rec folks do.
Fantastic. That's such a beautiful message.
Well done.
Yeah. So how is the convention going for y'all so far?
It's been incredible. It's always, I mean, I clocked 70,000 steps in the last 2 days.
Man.
I'm running on fumes, but I'm so energized because just seeing these people that I've built relationships with that have allowed me to be a part of their circle and their communities, to see them on a day-to-day basis, to catch up with them, to hear about all the incredible things they're doing, to be able to partner with them and hear about the ways we're supporting them and just be all together. This community is so wonderful, and it's an honor to be around these folks.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for, making a software company that can help reclaim some of those vital hours so they're not spending time doing data entry. They're actually spending time out in their community, servicing them and just building community.
Thank you for giving folks a platform and advocating for these really important individuals that enrich lives everywhere.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate it. And thank you for coming on the show today.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, take care.
At DPRS Media Co., we believe Parks and Recreation isn't just a service, it's the heartbeat of our communities. We exist to honor the people, the vendors, and the leaders shaping the future of Parks and Rec. Our mission is simple: to tell their stories, highlight their careers, and celebrate their essential work. Our vision is bold: to be the trusted hub where leaders, vendors, and communities unite, inspiring innovation, sharing wisdom, and building a stronger, healthier nation. Through over 220 live shows and 6 weekly series, the Leadership Series, Facility Maintenance, Young Professionals Network, Youth Sports Mastery, The Rec Room, and Growing Leaders, plus our industry-leading newsletter, the weekly Parks and Rec Post, we're building a media platform made for the Parks and Rec community. And now, we're inviting strategic partners to co-create this story with us. As a partner, you'll gain 12 hours of annual live exposure with custom shows highlighting your expertise, polished 60-second promos refined for maximum impact, year-round visibility with dozens of replays across our media network, premium features in our newsletter, and amplified social media reach across LinkedIn, X, and Facebook. This is your chance to educate, inspire, and lead while connecting directly with the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. This is DPRS Media Co. Let's build the future of Parks and Rec together.